Thanks for joining us from the Ohio AgNet, voice you know with the news you trust studio, sponsored by BASF, where you can count on the trusted performance of Alevos seed treatment to protect your soybean crop. Corteva, a global leader in agricultural technology, and Hexagon Bio, a biotechnology company, are pioneering a new way to discover nature-derived medicine, a multi-million-dollar joint venture to accelerate the development of new crop protection solutions inspired by nature. The joint venture is the first in the agricultural sector for Hexagon Bio and the first in the pharmaceutical industry for Corteva. The partnership brings together Corteva's billion-dollar nature-inspired crop protection franchises and bacterial natural product discovery capabilities with Hexagon Bio's natural product discovery platform to advance the company's respective pipelines across agriculture and human health. Our partnership with Hexagon Bio expands our discovery engine, taking our crop protection innovation to the next level, said Sam Ethington, Chief Technology and Digital Officer for Corteva. As demand for nature-inspired solutions continues to grow, this collaboration allows us to move faster and think bigger to provide farmers with the latest options in effective, sustainable tools. Hexagon's bio platform combines microbial genetics, artificial intelligence, chemistry, and synthetic biology to identify and characterize novel natural products, uncovering diverse mechanisms not obvious from the chemical structure or conventional techniques, and allow for more efficient molecule discovery. Today's weather brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Here's the forecast.
Mild air in here for your Wednesday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin. Let's take a look at that Ohio Ag weather update. I have no changes in the short-term part of the forecast. If you liked yesterday, you will like today as well. Very pleasant temperatures for this time of year, especially given the cold that we've dealt with recently. Even warmer temperatures tomorrow. The entire Buckeye State, I believe, 40s and 50s. What we are seeing, though, is rain moving into that warm air mass, so 1/4 to 1 inch of precipitation likely with coverage at 100%. Here's the new wrinkle that I am looking at. As we approach midnight tomorrow night, I am starting to be a little more concerned that we do not see the moisture outrun the cold. That means I have to leave the door open to rain ending as wet snow across Ohio, especially closer to midnight and especially central and eastern parts of the state. Now, whether the rain does end as snow or stays as rain, it doesn't change the fact that brutal cold's coming behind it, and Friday does not look happy to me at all. Look at temperature levels and compare them to Monday. That's where we're going to be here. Some very cold air coming. Now, the good news is the cold air only parks here for about a day. We see temperatures mild back up on Saturday pretty easily, back up to, well, not Thursday levels, but, yesterday or today, I think we can get there. And then we finish the weekend on Sunday with cold air refusing to give up. I think we actually see temperatures pull back quite handily on Sunday and be quite chilly. Even though we're underneath high pressure and we have sunshine, it is still Arctic air. Next week, don't worry, the mild air is returning pretty easily. Monday's a transition day, warm air coming in, maybe a few hit-and-miss rain showers on Monday, lots of clouds. But Tuesday, Wednesday, Christmas Day, Thursday, we are well above normal on temperatures. I think Christmas Day, you probably have to keep the umbrella handy for a few showers early to midday, and the warm air holds right on into the weekend with more rain the 28th, and the warm air holds through the turn of the year as well. I'm Ryan Martin.
And thanks, Ryan. Let's turn south for our South American update. Here's Joel Panorwood.
Time for the latest South American update, brought to you by Seed Genetics Direct, the #1 fastest growing and largest Ohio-based independent seed company. This latest update coming from our South American correspondent, Geraldo Isolde. He says Brazil's wrapped up its 24-25 corn season with a record crop near 141 million metric tons, according to CONAB. But despite large supplies and only reasonable exports so far, domestic demand has pushed prices higher. Brazilian farmers have been holding grain, and it has paid off there. Their cash index in Sao Paulo climbed nearly 9% from October into early December, reaching its highest level since late May. Futures markets briefly ran even hotter. Weather concerns and early soybean uncertainty pushed January corn futures sharply above cash values. That's a move that many analysts viewed as overdone, he says. By mid-December, those futures began correcting back toward the physical market. Looking ahead, Brazil's new crop season remains largely on track, he says. CONAB made only minor adjustments to soybean and corn production estimates, keeping soybean output near 177 million tons and corn production close to 140 million tons. Export for the current marketing year remained projected at 40 million tons, a target that appears achievable given strong shipments earlier in the year. The bigger takeaway, structural, that Brazil's domestic corn consumption is rising rapidly, reducing the downside pressure typically associated with large crops. And aside from some short-term pressure in January, prices expected to stay firm, and volatility could increase into 2026 as domestic demand plays a larger role in price formation. You can find that full South American update online at ohioagnet.com today, brought to you by Seed Genetics Direct. I'm Joel Norwood reporting.
And thanks, Joel. Let's find out more about what's happening at the United Soybean Board. With that update, here's Allison Kenny.
Joining me is Philip Good from the United Soybean Board. And Philip, we talked off the air and you said you wanted to talk about demand. What's the most important thing we talk about right now, looking at demand?
Often we don't appreciate what we've had until it's gone. I think that the past farmers have worked extremely hard to develop China and the market to China and the relationships that have been built there through the years. Still greatly appreciate China. We've realized the importance of diversification, both domestically and internationally. So when we look at domestic demand, we're desiring to grow domestic demand, whether it's through soy inclusion rates in pig diets, our poultry customers as well, new uses, whether it's replacing petroleum in rubber and in oil products, asphalt, artificial turf, so many great replacements there. Love the sustainability portion to it. The story, it's just awesome. So our customers appreciate it. There's an education that has to happen for them as well, and for consumers around the U.S. with that. One of the things I'm excited about, though, this year is growing export in other countries besides China, and we have seen growth. That is why we haven't seen a bigger drop than what we've experienced this year in our market of soybeans, is because of that growth. We know that when country's population grows, their protein needs grow right along with that. So with us, along with our partners, are looking at developing countries, developing markets in areas where we haven't been, and growing those markets. We've seen a 30% increase in markets outside of China. Excited about that. It can grow more. I think there's still a lot more opportunity there. But yes, we miss China. Yes, we're glad to have them back in the picture, but we're excited to have it all, whether it's whole soybeans, soybean meal, or meat.
This is Philip Good from the United Soybean Board. Philip, when we look at soybeans, is there one area that's more in demand? Do countries or others want just the beans? Some maybe want meal, some want oil. How does the board approach that?
It's all the above. And it's not a food or fuel. We're looking at food and fuel. So that is something that I think we're working hard to educate people that it's not one or the other, it's all the above.
Thank you, Philip Good and Allison Kenny. Back with more after this.
They didn't have skim milk for your coffee, so I just got formaldehyde.
Ugh, isn't that stuff in floor cleaner?
Pizza's here. Would you like cheese on that? Or how about a Crolian?
Oh, no, that's in bug spray.
Hi there. Would you like to sample our new scent? Diethylene glycol.
Isn't that the stuff in antifreeze?
You wouldn't want to eat it, drink it, or even smell it, but that's exactly what's in your vapes. If you vape, quit. If you don't vape, don't start. For help, go to odh.ohio.gov/no-vapes. A message from the Ohio Department of Health.
It's hard to overstate the significance of congressional passage of the Whole Milk for Healthy Kids Act, not only because it represents major progress in improving the nourishment of American school kids, but also because of what it says about how persistent, long-term effort can still bring bipartisan success in Congress. Since 2012, when federal nutrition rules took whole and 2% milk out of school meal programs, dairy farmers and their cooperatives have pointed out the flaws in that decision, which wasn't aligning with consumer choice. What was true then became even more true in years to come, as newer research consistently showed the value of milk at all fat levels, and consumers moved even further toward full-fat varieties in their purchases. And now the day has arrived. We thank Chairman Glenn G.T. Thompson of Pennsylvania and Representative Kim Schreier of Washington for their critical roles in championing the most recent version of this important legislation to the finish line, and the many other congressional leaders who preceded them in their efforts to protect access to nutritious milk in schools. Dairy doesn't succeed without tireless advocates on Capitol Hill, and it's been an honor to work with those members and their staff in these efforts. The next step after a presidential signature is implementation, and we pledge our fullest support to federal officials and school districts across the nation to help with implementation of this important legislation. Congress made a positive difference, and we're thrilled to be a part of it. Comments from National Milk Producers Federation President and CEO Greg Dodd. Back with more after this.
Attention farmers and ranchers, Purple Wave's December 30th Ag Auction features top equipment from Basigio Farms LLC Retirement Auction in Gordon, Nebraska. Upgrade your operation with our 2022 John Deere S770 STS Combine, Farm King 2450 Bale Mover, and a powerful 2020 John Deere 8R S10 MFWD Tractor. This is your chance to acquire field-ready machinery that performs, all selling at absolute no reserve to the highest bidder. Visit purplewave.com to view detailed listings and inspection information. Purple Wave Auctions, straight, simple, sold.
When you combine the advanced technology of Enlist E3 soybeans with Seed Consultants' dedication to performance in the eastern corn belt, it's a simply better experience. Our Seed Consultants brand soybeans are hand-selected, tested, and proven to perform in your conditions, backed by the local knowledge of Seed Consultants sales professionals. Bind to better soybeans with reliability and results packed into every variety. Visit seedconsultants.com.
Today's market analysis is brought to you by the Louis Dreyfus Company. Excited to be building the newest state-of-the-art soybean crush facility in Upper Sandusky, Ohio. For marketing information on your beans to LDC, call 574-566-2113. Here's Ryan Martin.
Grain markets finished the Tuesday session in the red. Corn down 1 to 3.5 cents. Beans down 9 to 10. And we broke below some support levels on beans. Meanwhile, bean meal was mostly lower, but not bad. Bean oil down triple digits. Wheat followed beans down anywhere from 6 to 11 cents overall. Yesterday, there were no daily flash sales. We saw weakness in the macro markets that spilled over into ag markets, and weather models are still talking about some fairly significant Argentine rainfall, but it's enough right now that it's not concerning on the crop side of things. Good moisture coming as we move through the key areas of kernel and pod fill. As we check in on crude oil yesterday, a new 7-month low came in, $55 a barrel. Soy oil followed. There was a lot of concern over RVOs. No new sales to China. USDA unexpectedly failed to confirm new sales to China, so it was just a mess in the markets yesterday. I'm Ryan Martin.
And thanks, Ryan. Today's market's brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Overnight, at the open, March corn up 1/2 cent at $4.37. May also up the half at $4.45. July trying to keep up 1/4 cent at $4.51 1/4 cent. January soybeans up 2.5 at $10.65 1/4 cent. March $10.74, up 2 1/4, and May soybeans up 2 3/4 at $10.85 3/4 cents. In wheat, July new crop up 3/4 at $5.30 1/2. September $5.43 3/4, up 1. December up 1 1/4 at $5.61 1/4 cent. In livestock at yesterday's close, December cattle up 32 at $231.15. February up 15 cents at $230.70. And April $230.27, up 25 cents. February lean hogs, $84.77, up 92. April, $89.70, up 77. And May, $93.37, up 87 cents. If you're keeping track so far, we haven't set anything lower. Let's keep it that way. March feeder cattle up $2.75 at $337.60. April, $336.30, up $2.52. And May feeder cattle, $334.07, up $2.30. Thanks for joining us. I'm Dale Minyo. This is the Ohio AgNet.